guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be showing you some very easy, natural looking makeup. So if you want to see how I got this look, then just keep watching. Okay, so to get right into it, I'm going to prime my skin, and for that I'm going to be using my Marc Jacobs primer for more hydrating, for more hydration, and then I'm going to be using my Guerlain Blurring Active Base in the T-zone area. As usual, I'm going to have everything linked down below so you guys can check it out if you're interested. I'm actually pretty proud because I'm starting to make quite the dent in this. I did shake it a little bit, but if you guys can see, it's like down to here, so I really don't have that much left. Given that it is a primer, it does take a while to get through it, but this was in my 12 pans of Christmas, and I'm really just trying to finish it up, so that's why I've been using this one pretty much non-stop, even on my channel. So I apologize if you're getting tired of seeing the same thing, but I am trying to use it up. Okay, so now just like I usually do, I'm going to take my concealer and go ahead and just cover anything I would like. Since I'm going for a very like everyday kind of look, nothing too crazy, very easy, I'm just going to, you know, lightly conceal some of the problem areas, and then we'll just go in with my all-in-one glow. Taking my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind as usual. And I think for under the eye, I am going to take my Smashbox Studio Skin and just put a tiny bit under the eyes, and also use this to prime the lid. And I'm just going to blend all of this out with my damp beauty blender. Okay, as you guys can see, you know, it's not anything like full coverage, which, as you guys usually know, I don't like to go super full coverage with my face makeup just because I feel like it gets very cakey very fast on me, and I'm just trying to focus on making this a very natural looking everyday look. I wanted to do something that would be easy for you guys to recreate, and for those of you who can't wear anything dramatic every day, you know, for me even too, like this is something I would definitely wear to my office job. So that's why I'm keeping it very light. You know, for me, I hate to sit at work with like a full face of like foundation and just everything feeling so heavy. It's, you know, so I'm trying to do very minimal coverage and still have some of my natural skin showing through. So we're just going to move on to the foundation portion of this, and I'm just going to be using my YSL All-in-One Glow foundation. As you guys know, if you've been watching, I have been loving this so much, and I also feel it's perfect for like a no makeup look, but still also provide a little bit of coverage, and it is very glowy and youthful looking, so that's another reason I thought this would be perfect for a everyday look. And what I have been doing is taking my foundation brush, and I've been like spraying it with some kind of face spray. This one is the Smashbox Primer Water. So what I would do is I just spray this to get it a little bit damp and then buff out the foundation, and I think that helps. I mean, I could be crazy, but I think it helps to make it still seem very glowy and dewy and just very youthful. So I've been liking doing that. I don't know if it actually does anything at all, but I feel like it does compared to when I just use my damp sponge, or if I just use the brush dry. I feel like it adds just a touch more glow. So I'm just going to take about a pump of this. I usually don't need that much, so I try to just use it sparingly. So I didn't even do like a full pump. So I'm just going to try to see how far this goes, and if I need to add more, I can. I'd rather have to go and pump more on the back of my hand than pump too much and then end up wasting it, especially because that is not cheap. So I'm just going to spritz the brush and blend it out. And occasionally I will respray the brush depending on if I feel I need to. I think in this case I'm not going to have to, just because I'm going for a very light coverage look. I just dip the brush in, kind of stamp it on the face. and then I'm going to blend. So I think for what I'm aiming for, which is a very, you know, like I keep saying, natural everyday look, this is the perfect amount of coverage. I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to tell, but obviously you can still see some of the imperfections in my skin showing through, but in my opinion that makes it look more natural. And this foundation is like super lightweight, so I don't even feel like I have anything on, and I didn't even have to use a full pump to achieve this. A little bit of concealer beforehand, and then like, I guess I would say 3/4 of a pump, somewhere in there, 2/3, 3/4, somewhere in there of this, and it did perfectly. And I did not have to respray my brush, so, you know, I think that worked well. And a lot of times, I don't know if you guys could tell, is I will buff out the foundation first, and then when I feel like I have blended it out, I'll kind of just tap over it so that there's no like streaks, and it really presses it into the skin. I'm actually so surprised that I have been enjoying using this, because before this one came into my life, this is the Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH03, I hated foundation brushes. I don't know if I had ever actually used one that was like this shape and this density. I had used a couple others and I hated them. I don't know if it was just the technique that I was doing was wrong, because I always felt like it had streaks. It like sat on top of the skin rather than, you know, where a beauty blender I feel like you can press it into the skin. So I have been really loving this. I'm happy that I got it. I got the whole kit of the Jaclyn Hill brushes. I did a whole video on those if you want to check that out. I will throw it up in the cards. So anyway, I have been really liking this combo. Sometimes I will take my damp sponge afterwards and just kind of like press everything in just to make sure, but I think in this case it looks fine without doing that. And as you guys can see, there's definitely still some like dewiness to the foundation, and I think that the primer water helps. Next, I'm just going to go ahead and set, and I'm going to be using my Smashbox Halo Hydrating Perfecting Powder. And the reason I picked this one is because when I am going for like a more no makeup look, I picked this one because I feel like it has a little bit more coverage than like my translucent powder, so it can just add that little extra. I'm not going to go heavily setting my face, I never do, but especially for a look like this, I want to keep some of the glow and I don't want to take away from it too much, so I'm just going to lightly set it. I usually will take it on like a big fluffy brush and just lightly set all over the face. A lot of times too, I tap off the excess. Okay, so there's still definitely the glowiness. I'm more focused on setting this area so that my bronzer and highlight and all that will blend easier, but I definitely do set the center of my face because I do get oily, so I like to have that set down. So again, here is what the skin is looking like. Definitely not flawless by any means, but you know, I feel like it looks good. It looks like the coverage I normally want out of my foundation, even on a more of a glam day. So also, one thing I wanted to mention was, you saw that I primed my lids with the concealer. One reason I do this is because I do like to have like that color correcting from it that a lot of eye primers don't give. But also for like an easy everyday look, I feel like adding one less step and one less product makes the look easier and faster, especially if you're trying to do this before work. It's like I was already going in with my concealer, I can just pop it on the lids, move on. I don't have to go dig out another product or use another product to prime the lids. So that's just one thing I wanted to point out. So now I think I'm going to just move on to the bronzer, and I will be using the Park Ave Princess palette from Tarte. I really do enjoy this one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this brush. This is like my favorite bronzing brush now that I've acquired it. Before I always used, I'll show you guys for an example. Before I would always just try to use my Sigma brush, which is like this, which they are similar. This one used to be more round, I think, up until brushing it. They are similar, but I just feel like this one gets in better and I think is a little bit fluffier. So I'm going to go in with this one, and this is the JH02. I will have all the brushes and the products in the description box as usual. So I'm just going to, what I do is I just mix Princess Cut and Angle, these two, because this one's pretty light, this one's dark, so I just mix the two, and I will bronze the normal areas of the skin. And you can go as heavy or as light with your bronzer as you would want to. Sometimes what I'll even do is just take like a clean, fluffy brush and just kind of like buff on the jawline or like the lower part of the face just to kind of clean up the bronzer a little bit and make it a little more blended. So I think that is good for the bronzer. Just adds a little something back to the skin. Alright, and now I'm just going to go in with some highlight, very little, because, you know, again, I don't want this to be too over the top. I'll be taking my Colourpop on the Cusp highlight. I believe this was from the Zodiac collection with Kathleen Lights. I'm like 99% sure of that. So I'm just going to pretty much just take a little bit of this on my finger, because it has like this, it's like jelly. I don't know how to explain the consistency, even though it's a powder. So I just take a little bit on my finger, and I'm just going to tap this on the high points of the cheek and just minimally highlight. So that is about it for the highlight. I think I did a little bit more on this side than I did on this side. But that's okay. And I think this one is a really nice like glow, because I feel like it's not like it's totally a different color that it sticks out very obviously on my skin. So I think this one is perfect for, you know, a very natural look. I do like this. Like I said, it's such a weird texture when you touch it, but it does do the job. So what I'm gonna do next is we're gonna move on to the eyes. And someone commented on one of my videos asking for me to try to get as close as possible for the eye looks and to not speed through it. So I think I'm gonna show you guys the whole process and not really speed through it. Unless this video gets way too long, then maybe I'll speed up some parts, but I think it was a good suggestion to show you guys how long it truly does take me to achieve a look. And I think this kind of look was perfect to do that with, since it won't be like a super dramatic look and won't take 10 years to blend out. So I'm going to try to zoom you guys in as close as possible. I do not have the best camera when it comes to like up close clarity, but I'm going to see how this looks, and hopefully you guys will enjoy being able to see really up close. Okay, so I think that is pretty close, especially since you can't even see my mouth. So I will be using the Natasha Denona Safari palette. Again, since I'm going for like a very easy everyday look, I don't even want to have any shimmer, which is normally crazy for me because I usually always have shimmer on my lid. I just feel naked without it. But sometimes when I am getting ready in the morning, I will literally do my face, pop on some mascara, eyeliner, and I'll just take like one brown or my bronzer even, put that in the crease and go. I won't even put anything on the lid. So that's why I thought this palette would be perfect to show you just a very simple, quick look. I'm sorry if the focus is not perfect. Like I said, the camera that I use kind of doesn't work the best with the autofocus, so I'm going to do my best here, but let me go ahead and we're going to set down the lid since I never did that after applying the concealer. And I think I'm just going to take this shade Aya. And I will take my Real Techniques brush and just set it down. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take like a nice blending brush, and I'm going to start with the shade Tamarind. I like this one because I think it's kind of like the lightest transition shade for my skin tone, because this is literally my skin tone and this is kind of pink. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this one in the whole crease area, just pretty much sloppily putting it in there, because again, this is supposed to be easy and quick. So I'm just going to dip my brush in, tap it off, and then go into the crease. I kind of don't like the brush I picked to do this with, but for the sake of consistency, I'm going to do the same thing to this eye, and I think I'm going to take a fluffier brush to kind of like blend it all out. Okay, so that is what the crease is looking like so far. For some reason, shadows don't like to stick to this part of my eye as much, so let me try to build that up a little bit more. Okay, that added a little bit more. Now what I want to do is just take like a fluffy crease brush and just kind of go over it with no product right now. Okay, so that is what the crease situation is looking like. It's crazy because how on camera it looks like I'm missing shadow right in that area, but in person it doesn't look like that. So it's weird how the camera can pick up things that you don't see. I'm looking at it and it's like it doesn't look like that in person. So anyway, what I want to do is now we're going to take a little bit more of that shade but on a brush like this and kind of build up the outer corner portion. I'm just dragging it in pretty messily just because, you know, we're just going to go in with like a matte shade over top, so it doesn't have to be, you know, anything perfect. As you guys can see, I definitely dragged it in on the lid and on this side, and I also, what I'm doing is dragging it in this way and kind of focusing it into the crease as well, just to, you know, keep blending, blending, blending. Now going back in with that fluffy crease brush with no product on it, I'm just going to blend again, make sure everything looks nice and blended. The beauty of this eye look too is that you can go as light or as heavy as you want with this shade. I could have very easily only stuck a tiny bit of this into the crease area and just called it a day, but I did want to build it up at least a little bit just to have something, because once we put on eyeliner and mascara, you know, it's going to take away from it a little bit, I think. But anyway, what I want to do now is we're going to go in with our lid shade, and I believe I'm just going to go ahead and put Malia, which is like a very nude pink, all over the lid and kind of see what that does to brighten up the lid area. Now I'm not bringing it all the way to the end of the lid. I'm kind of stopping and trying to blend it in, which we will go back and blend a little bit more on the outer corner. As you guys can see though, that definitely brightened up the lid space compared to this side. Now taking this brush again and adding more of Tamarind and blending the outer corner with the lid shade we just used. Going to take a little bit more of that Malia shade and touch up this area. Sometimes using your finger to blend the outer corner shade and the lid shade really does help. So this is what the eyes are looking like. I know it is by no means perfect, but I do think it's nice for like an everyday kind of situation. So again, let's take that fluffy brush with no product and just kind of blend out the edges. And for the brow bone, I'm going to take that same Malia shade and just use that to brighten up the brow. And we'll take a little bit of Malia too on the inner corner. And then now for the lower lash line, we will take just that little bit of Tamarind and buff that into the lower lash line to kind of tie it all together. As you can see, that kind of just tied everything together. And now we will just go in. I think the eyes, as far as shadow goes, looks decent. I mean, I know it's, again, it's not perfect. A lot of times the eyes never look even, but I'm going to just go ahead and go in with some black liner. And I just picked this one up yesterday and I got it for like $2. It's the CoverGirl and Katy Perry Katy Cat Eye Liner. I've worn it once and I mean it's pretty good. I mean for $2 you can't really can't complain. I mean it definitely goes on and it's pretty easy to glide on too, so pretty good $2 spent. And I know those of you who watched my last video about my low buy for 2019 are probably wondering, like, why did you buy this yesterday after you just talked about how you were trying to go through other products. I actually I didn't have any of my makeup with me and I really just needed a liner. So that's why I picked up this one and it was on sale. So I figured $2 is fine. It was on sale for like $4. And I also bought a mascara, which I accidentally bought brown, so I'm not too happy about that because I needed the mascara too. So I ended up getting this for like $2. It's fine, I'll use the products. And the brown mascara actually wasn't bad, especially for like just popping on mascara and liner, but it's definitely not my favorite thing ever. I definitely prefer black. So now we're going to take my trusty Voluminous Lash Paradise from L'Oreal and we're going to just put on some mascara. As you guys can see though, look how well that CoverGirl liner worked. I mean, for $2, I would say I mean, honestly, back in the day, I used to only buy drugstore liners. I like never bought high-end liners until I got older, so they do work. I mean, they work just as good as any others usually, depending on the formula, of course. This one I would say goes on as easily as like my Marc Jacobs one, so, you know, it's fine. Alright, as you guys can see, mascara and liner really helps to tie a look together, so I'm happy with how this is looking. Alright, let me zoom you guys out so you can kind of see the whole look thrown together. First here's a look. Alright, I know the look is definitely not perfect, but I think kind of a messy, just quick thrown together look usually looks pretty good, especially once you add in like the mascara and liner. You can't really see that the eyes are like kind of uneven. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with how this look turned out, and I think this palette is pretty good for just throwing on like a quick matte look. You know, some of the shades are pretty dark, so they would be, you know, it would take some time. I originally thought I was going to maybe add in Thorn, which you totally could. If you wanted to take this look to probably like the next step and deepen it up a little bit in like the outer corner and the immediate crease area, you could definitely take any of these like brown shades and deepen it up. But I thought for the sake of an easy, you know, natural looking look, using 2-3 shades was perfect. I only used 2 if you don't count setting my lid, but if you count setting my lid, I used 3. So overall, this palette has done well so far. I definitely haven't used every single shade to give you like my full final thought on whether this is worth it or not, but so far I am enjoying it. And I hope you guys liked the style of me getting super close and not speeding through. I know the video is probably going to be a little bit long, but if that's what you guys want to see and you guys don't mind watching a little bit longer of a video, that is fine by me to do. So the other day I woke up like with super dry lips, and I think it's because it has been colder here in Florida, which it went from being like warm all the way to like in the 60s, which I know for those of you who live up north, you're probably like, wow, 60s, so cold. But I think it just kind of messed up my lips and with some dryness, so I'm not going to try to go put on like a liquid lip or a lipstick. I'm just going to pop on a gloss, which I think glosses are another low maintenance lip, because if they wear off, it's not really the end of the world. Your look still looks good, and you can quickly, easily apply this. You probably don't even need like a mirror to apply gloss, you know? So I feel like this is perfect for an easy, natural looking look. And this is the Buxom Dominique gloss. I really like the Buxom glosses. We'll just pop this on and the look will be done. So yeah, I think the gloss just makes the look tie together, gives especially a gloss like this color, just gives your lips like that juicy kind of look and makes you look very much awake and put together. So overall, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I know that like I said, the eyeshadow is not like 100% perfect, but for just getting out the door and you want to be thrown together, I think this is perfect. Alright guys, so that completes today's video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed watching me do this easy, natural eye look today and face makeup. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos. And also leave me a comment down below letting me know if you liked me not speeding through the eyeshadow portion so you could really see how long it took to blend and see the blending process. I would love to know what you guys think, and I thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!